I have to say that I enjoyed this really well. I haven't had such an experience in a long time that I just use some new technique and get a whole different result. So I'm really glad. As you might see, I ended up in the forest again, and today I want to show you some different photo shots. I want to take some composition of the trees here. We have like a really leaf forest. Yeah, leaf forest. There are not much conifers around, and we will try to find some nice compositions, maybe first, maybe after, depends on the light. When I was on my way, it was actually perfect weather for shooting forest, so it was all covered with clouds, but now it's kind of the exact opposite. All the clouds disappeared, and I don't have much to work with left. But still, I think we can maybe find some interesting structures, trees, or whatever. I will just roam through the forest and look for something. There are some pools over there which reflect the trees, which I think is kind of nice. And maybe I can use that for my advantage. So today we're gonna try intentional camera movement. So we basically take a photo, and while we take the photo, we move the camera on purpose. It gives really nice structures. I like the style. I've never tried it before. So a leaf forest is really good for that because we have structure, we have nice trees, and we have green leaves. Because when we move the camera, it can happen that the leaves will be really blurry and it will look like a painting, which should have a nice effect. Besides the normal stuff we're gonna do today. Let's photograph some woodlands. I really like the old walls that you find everywhere in the forest in Norway. This is one of them. I think I can maybe use it for a composition, but I'm not sure yet. I have to also find the right trees. You don't see many of these leaf forests in southern Norway, and not further up north either. It's more likely to find them here. So I'm really lucky, and they're maybe around the coast. Looks a bit like Denmark. And I like that really well because it feels a bit like home. I'm from Germany though, not Denmark. But we're gonna try the intentional camera movement now, I guess. And I think a few things that you should think about while doing that is you need something steady. I think you can do it handheld, but I think if you have a tripod and you go down, up and down, that's nice. For the people that don't have a fluid head to do that, maybe just use 2 legs of your tripod and then balance it out so that you can make an even movement. I will try to show that. Today I'm filming myself when I'm setting up my gear with my iPhone, so hopefully that will help. What I think is important with the intentional movement is just be creative. normally people go up and down, and I think of course that depends on the structure you're taking a photograph of, but I would also try to shift it from left to right. And I have my telescope lens in the car, and if I find some intimate spot that I can get in 150 millimeters, then I will try to get my long lens out, and then we can turn the whole camera in a circle around. I would really like to try that. I would also set your camera on a remote control or on a timer so that you can activate it and start moving, and while you move, the camera will start the shutter speed so that you don't start with steady, so that you start in the movement. I think that's better. Makes the photo a bit better and the technique itself. Hopefully we get some nice photo. I should maybe take the photos before I record the videos. Here you can see one of the first pictures that I actually took with the intentional camera movement. Not the first one though. They were all a bit different, and I had to figure out what kind of exposure is the right one, how I should use my ND filter that I could vary. I like the repeating shapes. I like how the colors are distributed over the whole canvas. It's not a canvas though, but let's imagine this is a painting. All the nice colors coming together. It has a calming effect on me. So I went on and just focused on the trees in general first. And what you can see here is that the trees come really black if you lower your exposure in any case. Too much exposure was a problem when the sun was coming through the leaves, because it was such a day with changing weather and not really steady conditions. So the trees become really black, and I like that. It's just as if you scratched over the picture. And then you have the colors of the leaves on the ground and the fresh leaves in the trees, which just gives such a nice colorful contrast. Let's move on before I show you more of these pictures and what I got. And let's see how I felt about the experience of using this new technique to me, and how I felt about the topic. I have to say that I enjoyed this really well. I haven't had such an experience in a long time that I just use some new technique and get a whole different result. So I'm really glad. And I had to do some adjustments because the light is not as expected. You see, I have my rain jacket on, I have this one on because I thought it's gonna be cold and wet, but it's now a lot of sunlight. So I put a ND filter on, made it a bit darker, shot at different examples between 2 seconds shutter to 6 seconds shutter, aperture just to get it darker. I just moved up and down, left and right, tried some stuff, but what works most and makes sense in the forest, up and down makes more sense because the trees are just going in that direction, right? So that's fun. The mosquitoes are after me, but I just want to try a bit more. Get off the lens, please. I just want to walk around a bit, try a bit more. and just have fun with this. Sadly, on this lens I will be unable with this system to put a polarizer on, which could make the colors even more intense. I could try it though, but I think in the wider angle I get vignetting, so I can't do that. But as you might see, it has a really nice appeal because you have kind of a chaotic photo but with repeating structures, and it reminds you of paintings. It has a more artistic touch, and it's just fun to do it because you're not just acting like normally when you try to hold the camera as steady as you can to get the sharpest shot you can have. You're just a bit more free, and you just look for the right composition and then just go up and down a bit. I shot most of the photos now handheld because it felt like I can better hold the wide photo handheld steady. I also tried it with the tripod, but you could tell me what you think looks better, but the composition that I maybe found handheld is just more fun and looks better. Over there I've seen like 3, I'm not sure if it's 1 tree or 3 big trees that grow together, and I would like to make a photo of that. That's a bit on the border of the leaf trees. There are some pine trees as well, conifers, not pine trees, isn't that a Christmas tree? And I hope you enjoy that composition because I think like the tree goes up into like straight up and parts like into 3 trees, or maybe it is 1 tree, or it is 3 trees from the beginning. It goes up and spreads out into the sky and is surrounded by the conifers. So I hope you enjoy that one. And besides that, I will just go on and look for intentional camera movement and maybe the reflection, maybe those. I'm just really eager right now, and I have still so much time. I wished for other light conditions, but especially for the intentional camera movement, it's really great. And it doesn't matter that much. It gives actually a nice touch to it. And maybe for the other compositions I have to wait a bit longer. As I said, I have time, so just gonna hang around and see what I can do with this wall. Just on the last note to the intentional camera movement, I think also which counts, which is not exactly the same, but if you would adjust your camera on a tree, focus it on a tree, and the branches, bigger branches that don't really move in the wind, and you do a long exposure, just put an ND filter on, you do a long exposure, and if you have wind, the leaves should move, and then you get the leaves kind of painted and a bit unsharp, which should be nice when you have a really long exposure. But my problem is there's not much wind anymore, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but maybe I will use a really dark ND 3.0. Yeah, maybe that could help, and if I wait long enough, get a long enough shutter, maybe it could look nice. I will try that, and maybe you see if it's something for you. So as you saw, I walked further through the forest, and I whipped my camera up and down, and I have to say most of this I did handheld, and I saw that I enjoyed it more and it gave me more free forms to work with. As I said before, I wanted to be a bit creative, so instead of just moving the camera up and down, which has great results, I also rotated the camera around his own axis. I did that horizontally. The result of this you can see on this picture. The trees shaped into kind of cones. They nearly look like people standing in the forest. Really a bit mysterious, and for my taste a bit too artistic. And I also pointed the camera up and got kind of nice results that I enjoyed the most from this trip so far. My second favorite will be in the end of the video, but it was done with the same effect as these 2 coming photos. I pointed my camera to the sky and I turned on the spot. If you want to do this, if you want to try this, be careful. I nearly lost my balance and fell, but I'm maybe just not good on my feet sometimes. I just like how the shape of the tree was still kept intact and just everything was mixed and in an even, round movement combined. I tried this quite a few times, so I'm glad with this result. So just keep watching if you want to see my second favorite. I would be really glad if you do so. Another nice effect was also to just hold the camera not horizontally or vertical at all and just do whatever I liked and painted the lines of the trees over my sensor as I wanted to. This became my favorite picture of them all so far. It's just how the lines are structured, the trees, and then for the first time I used the light coming through the trees really in these photos, because all the other photos you see are quite dark. They just show the forest from the ground to the middle of the trees maybe, and here you can really see how the light flows into the forest from above, and I really like this photo. As I'm seeing these pictures now on the screen, I'm even more amazed than in the forest. I can't even believe how this worked out so well. I haven't been glad about my photos in a while, and this really gives me... It's just great. I'm totally amazed about photography again, like if I just started. When you watch this whole video, you will see that some of my ideas fell under the table because I just been so concentrated on what I was doing that I forgot about them. I will pick those up in another video and try to show you, for example, the long exposure of leaves that I talked about earlier. For now, maybe just keep on watching and there will be the photos of the day at the end of the video. I got really something good of the movement shots, I think, and you can tell me down below what you think about it. Not too many other great compositions. I like the three trees going up, I got that one, and I have this line of stones going into the forest. I like that one as well, but it's not too fancy, but I will try to combine it, and the result you see now. I hope we all learned something today. If you like this video, smash the button. You can subscribe if you consider subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, I have some more videos on photography and all about this topic. So see you soon. Thanks for watching. I will try to pick those up in another